deluge of NFL news, and we start there with George Pickens, who is a franchise tag candidate for the Cowboys after having career highs in catches, yards, and touchdowns in his one season with Dallas. VP of Personnel Stephen Jones was in front of reporters yesterday at the Combine in Indy, and they asked him about Pickens. Take a listen.
Pickens, of course, leaning toward the franchise tag. We'll finalize that here over the coming week or 10 days, and then we'll go from there. We want Pickens here. Think the world of him. Want him here, love him, and I think he wants to be here. So all that's a plus. A lot of guys who we've tagged, participated in everything. Dak leading the way, and he played under two of them, so he never missed anything. Hopefully that'll be the case here.
They in Dallas love using Dak as this, Dak did it. You should do it too. Dak did it too. I go to Dominique Foxworth here. If you're George Pickens and his representation, should you be open to the franchise tag, or is this a holdout in the making?
Yeah, whether he's open to it or not, it sounds like it's going to get pinned to him. Given how he produced last year, I'd be really hesitant to want to sign up for the franchise tag. He gave you #1 level receiver numbers, and I think he will want to use that leverage to get this money right now. But I think that obviously the Cowboys would argue that they just paid someone else to that position, and George Pickens is a little less proven because he's only done it for 1 year. But at points last year, it felt like he was the true #1, and you don't get too many opportunities to get paid. So I hope he uses that leverage to get it done, but it seems like it's an uphill battle for him.
Yeah, when Stephen Jones says it so plainly like that, it's likely happening. So what's your reaction if you're Pickens, the player?
I'll pick up right where Nick left off. If you're George Pickens, I was in Pittsburgh. You made this trade to bring me over with this in mind, with me to have this type of season, coming over with a quarterback like Dak Prescott, with an example like CeeDee Lamb on the other side, for me to come and show the talents that I have. George Pickens did that. You would think the process was we trade for him, we bring him over, he produces, we give him the contract that he's earned. So if you're George Pickens, the hell with the 1 year, with all of the stuff, red flags, you want to talk about what's happened in Pittsburgh. I did my year in Dallas. I did what I was asked to do. I want to be paid as such. I would understand that, him wanting and asking for the long-term deal.
It's fair. Nick, we go to this entire roster, though, and the Cowboys missed the playoffs. It's not up to their standard. What would be your top priority for Dallas, offense or defense, this offseason?
Yeah, that's a layup of a question. It's obviously defense. That defense was really bad for much of the season. We all convinced ourselves that they figured it out midway through. Then they fell apart once again. The defense needs a ton of help. I think the offense is pretty set up. And George Pickens, I think back to that point, it's just that if I were him, I'd say, what more would you want me to do? What more do I have to prove given what he's produced? But maybe he has to play some safety or corner on the other side to help him out on that side of the ball. They would pay him then.
I mentioned this is going to be a deluge of sports news from the Combine. This is what's going to happen. Every 10 minutes over the next few days, you're going to get a headline about something because everyone's talking. So let's do something we call Run the Hurry Up. Nick, we start with you. The Falcons plan to place the franchise tag on tight end Kyle Pitts. Do we believe his new head coach, Kevin Stefanski, can get this offense with 4 top 10 players on offense going in a new direction and get the Falcons going?
Absolutely. That's why they brought Kevin Stefanski in, I would think, is to solidify this offense. They have tons of weapons. We all know that the quarterback situation is not as stable or solidified as they want it to be, but the weapons are there, and you have a quarterback-centric head coach. Then the point is he's supposed to get the offense running. The defense got better. They're bringing back Ulbrich to manage defense, and I think, Stefanski needs to get the offense going. Otherwise, what is he doing there?
Okay, J-Mac, your thoughts on the Falcons?
I look at that, and I'm with Nick. Yes, they have all the weapons around them. The biggest question mark is the quarterback position.
Who's throwing on the ball?
Michael Penix is coming off of an injury. You look at Stefanski in his time in Cleveland, where they tried to go out and get veteran quarterbacks. Flacco had some success, but there was a lot of times there without that quarterback piece, it didn't matter what was outside of it. So that's going to be the biggest question mark for the Atlanta Falcons. Stefanski has proven that he's had success. Maybe they get Kirk Cousins, they release him and get a chance to bring him back, and he gets to run that offense.
Speaking of quarterback, one of the most curious situations is in Indianapolis. J-Mac, should the Colts sign Daniel Jones to a long-term deal? He's coming off the injury.
I'm going to say yes. there are a lot of caveats and variables to this situation. One, you look at the head coach Shane Steichen and general manager Chris Ballard. They're both going into a year where they're going to be expected to win. If not, don't know how much longer they're going to be there. I would want Daniel Jones, but it has to come at the right price tag with him going through injury and the way that season kind of tailed off last year.
All right, Nick, your thoughts on Daniel Jones?
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice. I don't know where the other answers are going to come from. I know they still have Anthony Richardson on the roster, and maybe that'll be an option, but they made their bed when they traded for Sauce Gardner. This team is going in for a championship right now, and if they don't have an answer at that position, the best answer they've had in quite some time in that position was a healthy Daniel Jones. So I think, yeah, they might get him at a discount coming off the injury, but he's their quarterback. He's their only chance, I think, to make a run in the playoffs, and to J-Mac's point, save some jobs.
All right, you saw me throw that yellow flag into the commercial last break. The NFL Competition Committee is reportedly discussing the possibility of authorizing replay officials to throw flags for specific penalties, with the example being this altercation in the Super Bowl. This was Stephon Diggs and Job, the cornerback. The replay official could go back and throw a flag is what's being proposed. Look at this punch here. Hello. We start with Neek. Neek, do you like the idea of the replay official up in the booth being able to say, wait a second, there was a flag, going back in time and reviewing it?
I mean, I just hope it doesn't slow the game down. Like, I get it. Normally we have, like, dramatic rule changes or additions like this after something wild happens in a game and it costs some team a win. So then we go and change it. They're doing it a little preemptively, which is fine with me, but it hasn't felt like it was a big problem. I'd be pretty annoyed if we have to sit around and wait for them to determine who threw the first punch. Just throw the flag, administer the penalty, and keep it moving.
J-Mac?
I agree with Nick, and there's a part of me that I remember growing up with a twin brother. There were times that I might punch him or push him, and mom's not looking, and I get a chance to get away with it. I kind of like that.
That's a
being
win.
a part of sports.
Reward
Yes.
that.
Like, you know, the little stuff you do, the little shove and all of those things. If the ref missed the first one, that throws out the old adage. It's always the second guy that gets caught. I don't want the replay to come out and catch the first guy. No, it's not supposed to go down that way. I don't like it.
My big picture take, the NFL's got a lot of issues. This one, it's not one of them.
Endlessly without drama in Dallas. But I digress. The Cowboys traded for Pickens before last season, and then he delivered the most receiving yards by any Cowboys player in their first season with the team. Pickens' 1,429 yards were good for third most in the NFL last season, behind Jackson Smith-Njigba and Puka Nacua.
Another Pro Bowl-worthy season brought even more heartbreak for Josh Allen. Results that are not only getting tiresome for the 2024 MVP, but clearly for his team as well. I mean, how else would you explain the Bills firing a coach in Sean McDermott, who led Buffalo to the playoffs each of the last 6 seasons with a 73% regular season win percentage during that run? The real question, though, is that change alone enough to get the Bills back in the Super Bowl for the first time in 32 years? More now from Dan Graziano.
It's been a long season. I hate how it ended, and it's going to stick with me for a long time.
The Bills' painful playoff loss to the Broncos led to the end of head coach Sean McDermott's 9-year tenure with the team. McDermott made the playoffs 8 times with a team that had missed the playoffs 17 years in a row before he got there. But he never took the Bills to the Super Bowl.
They are squandering the prime years of Josh Allen's career.
Josh Allen will turn 30 this offseason. He's got an MVP award, a new wife, and a baby on the way. He's also moving into a new chapter of his football career. Allen credits McDermott for his development from a raw, talented prospect to the elite all-around quarterback he is today, and the two grew together as one of the league's top coach-quarterback combinations.
Breaking news out of Buffalo. The Bills are signing Joe Brady to a 5-year deal to be their next head coach.
Continuity is part of the reason the Bills chose Joe Brady as McDermott's successor. Brady and Allen have worked together for 4 years, with Brady in Allen's ear calling plays since the middle of the 2023 season. While Brady's new responsibilities as head coach will naturally mean less one-on-one time with Allen during the week and during games, Brady understands the assignment when it comes to maximizing what the Bills have at quarterback.
Everything I think about is trying to find ways to put him in a position to have success, because that's all I care about with him. Josh Allen is the best player in the NFL.
All right, get ready for a full week of coach and front office speak starting Tuesday at the NFL Combine. We've got Steelers GM Omar Khan, the Giants' new head coach John Harbaugh, followed by the Bills' new head coach Joe Brady. Nick Sirianni and Sean Payton will also speak on Tuesday. And live on the 2 o'clock Eastern edition of SportsCenter, you got the Bears